Jump right into a litter of Yorkshires here. So these are 18 litters. They would read Landmine, Time's Up, Excite. Landmine would be the Robin Ridge hog there at Crossroads. Actually, we were shown against that hog with a King of Queens. King of Queens leaps and bounds Gringo Boar Pig. We're actually reserved to him. Takes a little bit of gumption to go back and use a hog that kind of beat you in a show there, the winter type conference. But we've got 18-1 and 18-2. 18-1 is the one that Levi's got on the stick there on the far side a little bit more. This one is ultra stout and ultra big chested. She's big bodied. She's big shaped. She's got a big rear leg and a big rear foot. And I'll be the first one to say she's not for the faint of heart as you crawl in behind her, but one that just needs to get off the self-feeder, and we'll just be honest with you. She needs to be managed a little bit as she gets to her end point, but you start with one that's got that much and just be able to kind of slow roll her there for a little bit and kind of, just ease up on the gas pedal a little bit, get her off the self-feeder and just kind of let her be a pig. I think you're going to be extremely happy because it's so hard to make Yorkshire stout. It's so hard to make them to have true muscle and true body shape, and this one darn sure has it. You're going to have to manage just a bit, but I think that this one, if managed right, could be the bell ringer in the end.
Yeah, kind of like Bryce said, I think you take her home and you just kind of slow her down a little bit, get her off a self-feeder. It would do a lot of good. But Yorkshires have been hard to get the right kind of chest, the right kind of form and bone in, and I think this one pushes it to the max in terms of being opened up, really burly in terms of her skull. She's stout in terms of her feature, and just gonna be kind of an easy feeding, slow rolling type of a deal here. But again,
cheap to feed.
Yeah, wide skeleton, really stout in terms of her feature.
Yeah, we'll jump right into Dash 2, a little bit of the other end of the spectrum, if you will. I think that this one is awful special. I like this one a whole bunch. That Landmine did exactly what we wanted to do on that old Time's Up sow. She's kind of been the staple here on the Yorkshire side. If you're, a Yorkshire pedigree guy, that Excite stuff on the bottom side is way, way old school. We've built around that sow and done a good job of trying to keep in females and stuff like that. You'll see some of those later in our other offerings on the 29th and the 14th. But I think that this Dash 2 is ultra special. So streamlined in terms of her look from the side. She's still just as stout featured. One that I think just her proportions from the side are going to take you so far. I think she's good in terms of her front foot. She's good in terms of the angle to her shoulder. Another one that's flat backed and can still get out and cover the surface, even though she doesn't really want to follow here today and wanted to get a little war paint on her from the stick. But I think that this one is very, very nice. You'd be very, very happy to bid on this one and take her home and take her to endpoint.
Yeah, it's got to be exciting to raise a Yorkshire that looks like that. Again, we talk about them not always having enough chest width and knee spread and just skull, but this one does it, and she does it in a very good fashion. So stout skulled, opened up. That one's tall-shouldered and still very proportional in the way that she's put together, and utilizes her hind leg very, very good. I like that gilt quite a bit, Bryce.
Yeah, I like that. Dash 1 and Dash 2, little bit of difference, but if you say that Dash 1's maybe got a little bit too much, look at the build and the flexibility of Dash 2, and if you say, well, Dash 2 doesn't have enough for me, if you want to give it to her, she'll darn sure have it. She props up there from the side, tall-shouldered one that's still slick out of the backside of her ear and right in her throat latch as she finally wants to pull and get on the stick. I think that this one has big ring potential. These are Decembers, but we think that as Indiana and Ohio have opened up, our state's a little bit behind and will always be behind Sawyer, but I think that this one could go all the way to the end very easily.